Hello, Dr. Kim Townsel here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some ways to organize those things that you have to do in school. How to organize projects and assignments. It's free to like the video. It's free to subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe to this playlist that will be circulating around somewhere, and you can hit that little bell. That way you will only be notified when things are added to this playlist, and you won't be bothered by things on the channel that are not of interest to you. But it is free to like, subscribe, and share the video if appropriate. So let's get into some ways that we can organize those projects and assignments that we're given, that we have to do, not just in school. One thing is to set a goal for every day. You need to set at least a goal that you can accomplish every single day, and preferably 2 or 3 things that you can do every single day. There are numerous studies that have shown that successful people, including athletes, actually write down what they want to accomplish. Maybe it's a long-term goal, and they actually tape it or put it somewhere where they can see it, and it's there in front of them all the time. For example, you may have these goals that you set for yourself each day, like read chapter 12 for science, do your math homework by 4 p.m., and buy your supplies for history poster. Now, this is an all-academic to-do list, and most of the time, if you're a well-balanced person, you're going to have more than just academic stuff on your to-do list. Sometimes just writing it down and looking at it and then checking it off when it's done gives you that satisfaction of getting things done. A more advanced tip might be, okay, which one has to be done, and you code that in A or number 1. Which one could I put off until tomorrow? Maybe that's buy the supplies for history poster, and that may be a 3. So if that helps you to code things 1, 2, 3 or ABC, it's called prioritizing, and that way you know which one to do first. Another advanced tip is to estimate about how much time it's going to take you to do each one of these, and we'll get into some more of those tips later on as we delve into the book. But just writing things down on either a post-it note, scrap piece of paper, and looking at them helps you just say, hey, this is the stuff that I really need to do. And I'm encouraging you to get a scrap piece of paper, get something, and write down each day at least 1, 2, or 3 things that you want to accomplish that day. If you just get in the habit of doing maybe 1 or 2 at the start, and then get with 3 things that you want to accomplish that day, those are going to put you some good habits in there of getting your mind saying, hey, these are the things that I want to get done today. And then as you do them, you check them off, and at the end of the day, you have that sense of satisfaction of, hey, this is where I said I was going to go. I went there. It's proof I did it. It's really, really good for the self-esteem and developing self-sufficiency and all that good stuff. Another thing to do is to you get these really large tasks that we have to do, and they just seem overwhelming. It's like, how can I even get started? I'm just like overwhelmed. I think I'll just go like take a nap or go for a walk or watch TV or play a game or something like that. I'm just too overwhelmed to start. So let's look at some ways that we can take those big, overwhelming, large tasks, large assignments, and break them into smaller pieces, so that we can accomplish those smaller pieces and get that sense of satisfaction and say, yes, I'm making progress. So there's an old joke that you're probably too young to have heard. How do you eat an elephant? Well, 1 bite at a time. And you're thinking, who wants to eat an elephant? That's just cruel. That's just mean. I'm a vegan. Okay, the joke is, how do you take a large thing and break it into smaller tasks? If you have a presentation, for example, you might just want to brainstorm and write down all the pieces that you're going to have to do, and then you maybe want to write them on another piece of paper, the order in which they could be done that makes the most logical sense to you. For example, if you're doing a presentation, maybe you want to make your 10-slide template with an intro slide, because your teacher has told you cannot go over 10 slides. And also, just a little side note, if you're having to talk, the rule of thumb is 1 minute per slide. Don't put too much information on each slide. Keep it simple. Maybe the next thing is to read the chapter or whatever you're supposed to do your presentation on and find 5 key facts. If you're limited to 10 slides, 5 key facts is going to help you to narrow that down. Then put your 5 facts into 1 slide, and you're not doing all of this in 1 day. And then you want to go to the very end and make a reference slide. So now you've used up 6 of your slides. So then, as you're driving going to sleep at night, because that's when we get our best ideas, or taking a shower, you'll think of something for the other 4 slides. Maybe it's a lame joke, maybe it's a question, maybe it's a graphic, something else is going to go on for those other 4 slides. Maybe a review for your audience. Then find some cool graphics that really relate to your overall presentation. You can add those in. Remember to cite your sources. And then, when you have the product finished, you want to store it in the cloud and on a flash drive so that it's accessible to you. Actually, as soon as you make something, you need to store it so that all your work is not lost. The overall thing is to take a large job and to break it down into manageable tasks. Again, seeing it like that makes it doable, and then you get the satisfaction of checking off each thing as you do it. And you don't necessarily have to do them in this order either. Now, I know some people say that they like to procrastinate because waiting till the last, they get that little adrenaline rush and they like do better work, but test yourself and see if that's really, really true. Most of the time you're going to find out when it's a high stakes assignment or project that breaking it into smaller tasks and staging it backwards so that you get everything done and you're not having to wait till the last minute is going to give you a more satisfaction about the job. And really and truly, if you're getting like your little adrenaline rush from your teachers giving you assignments, aren't you kind of letting these adults control your thrills and your drama? Can't you really find some more entertaining ways to get that little adrenaline rush than waiting to the last minute for school stuff? Think about it. And the last thing involves that grown-up thing of using a calendar. And I know that a lot of people don't like to use a calendar. They'll say, oh, I just put everything on my phone and my phone tells me what to do. And maybe that works for you. If you can use something like Google Calendar or some kind of app like that to calendar your work, then do that. If you need to have a hard copy, like I prefer a hard copy to write down my tasks and things like that need to be done. And then I use my phone apps to remind me when I need to leave and when I need to get ready and do things like that. So I use the phone more as a reminder, say, hey, remember you got this thing you've got to do. But then I put the things I need to do like detailed down in the planner. But use something. So let's look at how you can calendar your work to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself, that you're not overextending yourself, that you're allotting enough time and resources, because you don't want your whole life just to be about school, do ya? If you do, you need to get out and do some more stuff that's fun. Calendaring your work is going to take a little bit of skill, but let me give you the overall how-to. Using taking a big job and breaking it down into small tasks, if your presentation is going to be due on the 27th, you're going to look at your calendar and put that due date in on the 27th. If you look at your calendar, you see that you've got something going on the weekend of the 21st and the 22nd, so you're not going to work on it then. And because we don't procrastinate, we're not going to try to do all of that here, because something fun or something that's going to demand your attention is going to happen there. Technology is not going to work, or something's going to happen, and then you're just like lost. So we're going to back it up and say, okay, I'm going to make my 10-slide template maybe on the 12th, maybe on the 13th, maybe on the 14th, whatever you've got going on, and you actually write that in. And then you're going to put the time in to read your chapter and make your 5 notes. So maybe for you, the Sunday afternoon is going to be the time to do that. And then you just start penciling in or writing in time slots to do all the other pieces. Instead of trying to sit down and do all this at one time, because goodness, who wants to do that? You divide it up into tasks and just back up, put your due date in and back up and see when you can start doing these pieces and peppering the pieces in on your calendar. That way you really end up with a more polished product. You're not brain dead by the time you get to the end of it. And really and truly, if you just set aside like maybe 15 minutes for each one of these, well, that one's going to take a little bit longer than 15 minutes. But if you set aside a little time, like in advance, it's not going to seem like it's as tedious. It's not going to seem like it's as much work. So that's one way that you can backwards plan for your projects. So what we're trying to learn how to do is to schedule enough time and resources and energy to do school and do it well and not be overwhelmed, and leave enough time and energy and resources for other things in life that are important. Thanks for watching. I hope these tips helped you. Come back next week for more. Remember that it's free to like, subscribe, share the video with someone if you think that it can help you or your friends. And until next time, study smarter, not harder. Come back for more next week. Bye.